Today is Thursday, November the 5th. It is morning in Los Angeles and it's morning in America. I am your host, Casey Phoenix, and this is my morning political thought. Let me get the social media stuff out the way. ThePurpleElephantShow.com, main podcasting platform. On Parler, on Instagram, The Purple Elephant Show, on Twitter, at RealTPES, even though Twitter is silencing people right now. Facebook.com/ The Purple Elephant Show. If you are watching this on BitChute, YouTube, or Dailymotion, don't forget to hit the subscribe button followed by the notification bell. That will let you know when I upload new videos. Okay. It's 6:50 a.m. in the morning, which I'm recording this earlier than I usually do, because I usually don't start recording until, and that's Pacific Standard Time for those who don't know, even though I would think I said Los Angeles, so you would know. I usually record around 7:15-ish, 7:30-ish sometimes, but my recording has been earlier and earlier lately for some reason, which I guess that kind of helps. There are no side news stories today, and there more than likely won't be tomorrow either, due to everything that's going on. I will start this episode off by saying this. If you are not into premonitions, if you don't believe in that type of stuff and yada, 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 and that's going to give you the heebie-jeebies or whatever you want to call it and throw you off, this episode probably isn't for you. But for my listeners and my viewers, I promised you that I would tell you what my premonition was in regards to the election before, because I told you that President Trump would win. And I mentioned that back, a month or so ago. And I said the reason that he wins is actually kind of funny. Due to everything that has been happening, I have now been reading all of this energy that's been happening. And I'm like, okay, now it makes sense. I'm shocked, but it still makes sense now. And this is before. So this is the full disclosure on the premonition. I knew that the Democrats planned on using mail-in ballots to cheat before there was a push for mail-in ballots. Before all of this, I knew it. Before people were talking about, oh, well, they're going to use the China Wuhan virus to push for mail-in vote. I already knew all of that because I already had a premonition about it, because I got that it was going to happen, that they would do that. In addition to what came with that premonition, with them looking to cheat, I also knew, and this was the funny thing, a lot of people thought that how can I put this? The funny part of it is that the cheating happened, but the Democrats did not do it correctly. That was the funny part that no one knew about. What we're in right now is cheating 2.0. My premonition was about cheating 1.0, where they had set certain barriers and other things in place to protect Joe Biden and to pretty much make sure he wins the election. The problem is that they did not do it correctly. And that is what my premonition told me, that the cheating that they did would not be done correctly and President Trump would still win, which in my eyes was hilarious. Of course, nobody else really knew about this because nobody would think, well, some people would think, that they would go through all of this trouble, all of these things behind the scenes. Some people think they are cheating right now. I am telling you, this is cheating 2.0. When everything was happening months and months and months and months and months ago, they were already setting stuff in place. That was already done months and months and months ago. They were doing it in areas that are usually known as blue areas. But they didn't do it well, and by areas, I'm talking about the Rust Belt. They didn't do it well enough to where it would override the votes that came in for the president. And also they did it in other areas too, but the cheating had already happened during the process of the run up to the election. What's going on right now is oh my goodness, it didn't work. We got to do something, is what's happening. That I didn't get in my premonition. I got that the president would win. And if you go by election night, he did win. All of these: Wisconsin, Michigan, Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona. I feel like I'm in Pennsylvania. I guess I keep forgetting about Pennsylvania because in my mind, I still feel like Pennsylvania was not needed. And if you go by all of the other states, Pennsylvania was not needed to win the electoral college. It was just icing on the cake. But with all of this was pretty much done beforehand. With Michigan, it is already being proven right now that dead people were voting in Michigan. All of these dead people had requested absentee ballots months ago to vote. This is, if you go online on Twitter right now, you can see people typing in dead people's names, people born in the 1800s, in 1900, and so on and so forth, that requested an absentee ballot in Detroit, Michigan. Who would have thunk? But I already knew this. I already knew about cheating 1.0. I already knew it was going to happen. What I also knew is that it wasn't going to matter, that's what made it so funny. Did anybody ever notice how Joe Biden was not drawing any crowds? Kamala Harris wasn't drawing any crowds. No matter what they did, they didn't pull any crowds in at all. I mean, the most they had is what, 30, 40, 50 cars? Even with former President Obama, they weren't drawing any crowds, but they were still calm. Like, Joe Biden's going to win. He's going to win this. Nancy Pelosi was still calm. Like, everything's going to be fine. Donald Trump won't be president. Everybody was fine on this. Why do you think that was? All of the cheating 1.0 had already happened over the past few months. So they're like, oh, there's no way Trump's going to win with cheating 1.0 in place. After the ballots started being tallied, after the votes of people, the rush of people going to the polls on election day, after those numbers started coming in, then they were like, oh, whoa, hey, stop counting. And then this is where cheating 2.0 comes in. This isn't cheating 1.0. And that's what I'm telling you. This is not cheating. What's going on? When they stopped counting, that was not cheating 1.0. That is cheating 2.0. They had already cheated beforehand. And most people don't know this. And some people are like, duh, it's Democrats. They always cheat. But I'm telling you, they had already cheated beforehand. And the laugh is that the cheating didn't work because so many votes came in for the president, it overrided their cheating on the 1.0. And that's what my premonition was. And that's why it was so funny. And that's why I was laughing during that episode. Because I'm like, they're going to go with mail-in ballots. They're going to cheat. And it's not going to work. He's still going to win. So that's what happened with that part. So now we're here. Did I think that this would go longer than 24 hours? No, I didn't. I didn't think they would have the gall or I don't want to say the word, but it starts with a B and ends with an S. And there's a lot of BS going on right now too. But I didn't think, I never would have imagined, and I definitely didn't get that. And I don't, like I said, I'm still not getting a bad feeling like something ominous is is hovering over the president. I'm not picking that up. And I could be wrong. Not all my premonitions are correct. Most of them are. You know, I have a good track record. But not all of them are. However, I'm not picking up a bad vibe on this right now as related to the president. One thing that is irritating me to no end is how quiet Republicans are. That's irritating me. And it shouldn't, because like I said, I'm not picking up a bad vibe. I'm just irritated because Republicans should be saying something. It's like after they won their races, like Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, you know, so on and so forth, certain Republicans ran their race and they won, and they're in the clear now because obviously the polling had them scared. The other media outlets had them scared. And then there was this influx of cash, which didn't mean anything, obviously, had them scared. Mike Bloomberg wasted $100 million, but these are minor details. It's as if, okay, well, I won my race, so who cares about the president now? Have they said something? Yeah. But this isn't a time to be silent. It's a time to rally around the president of the United States. And I know some people may say, oh, well, the optics may look bad rallying around the president because it may imply that you don't believe in free and fair elections. No, the reason to rally around the president right now is because you believe in free and fair elections. Because what's happening is not fair. What's happening is something that happens in Venezuela, not in the United States of America. We don't stop counting votes. We don't do that. We don't call states Fox News, which I quit watching Fox. I barely even watch Fox on YouTube, and YouTube doesn't even really, and I'm talking about the bootleg version of Fox, where somebody records it and uploads it to YouTube and da-da-da-da, where Fox doesn't even get credit for that. I barely watch that now because seeing the Fox symbol almost makes me want to literally vomit. So with these Republicans, what they need to understand, number one, more non-whites came out for President Trump than any other Republican president since 1960. That is number one. That goes back to my daily thought a few days ago, which I already knew this. There's some things I just know. Minorities will put President Trump back in the White House. Who do you think won President Trump Florida? He did over 40% with Latinos in Miami-Dade. Did he win the majority of the Miami-Dade vote? No. He didn't need to, though, considering he was beat, I think, almost, 30 points before or something like that? It was some crazy amount in 2016 in Miami-Dade. But he managed to close the gap a little bit with Latinos in Miami-Dade County, which helped him in Florida. Governor Ron DeSantis said that even after the votes were while the votes were being tallied up, the Panhandle is known as a strong Trump area. It's a Trump stronghold. Governor DeSantis has said they could have called Florida before the Panhandle was even tallied up. That's how many people voted for President Trump in Florida. And that's how many minorities, Latinos, even though some Cubans don't consider themselves minorities, but these are minor details. I used to live in Miami, so I know what the deal is, but I digress. But all of these minorities voted for President Trump and gave him Florida because in their eyes, socialism and communism sucks. So he got Florida. In It was either Arizona or Nevada. I want to say Nevada. He got 40% as well with the Latino vote. It's either Arizona or Nevada. I have to check, but you can look it up too. He got like 40% of the Latino vote. Overall, they're saying overall across the United States, they're saying he got 32%, but I don't believe that. Just like they're saying he got 12% of the black vote. I don't believe that either. Even though 12% is an improvement from 8%, but I don't believe that. I honestly believe President Trump got 20 to 25% of the black vote. I really, really do. And to my understanding, some of the numbers that are being quoted are based off of exit polling, too. We don't have every single vote in yet. And right now, due to the influx of, how can I say this, questionable votes, will we ever truly know the numbers? Who knows? But I feel President Trump got 20 to 25% of the African American vote, the black vote. That's just how I feel about it. And I feel he got about maybe close to 40, I want to say 38% of the Latino vote, Hispanic vote across the board, across the United States, is what my belief is. This situation with Republicans not speaking up, that's not a good look, because I hate to break this to you, Republicans, whether you be Lindsey Graham, Kevin McCarthy, or whoever. The Republican Party is not the Republican Party. The Republican Party is President Trump's party. Without President Trump, there isn't a Republican Party. And if you don't realize that now, you need to get on board. As my little sister says, get with it or get lost. Because if you let them push President Trump out, I promise you, something else will start. And it won't be the Republican Party. And the Republican Party will fade off into existence. And I don't know if Trump supporters will gravitate towards a Kanye individual and do that, or if there will be somebody in the independent party where everyone just gravitates over there and then gives that party a little bit more clout and a little bit more validity. I don't know. What I do know is that if you do not stand up and back this president, the president who is the leader of the Republican Party right now, the president who has brought this party more diversity than ever in modern history, then you're going to have a problem later on. In that, I don't need a premonition to see. That I know is a fact. So for all of these quiet Republicans, and that's the other thing too, my spirit is telling me that some of these Republicans are like, well, we kept the Senate. So even if President Trump gets pushed out, which like I said, I don't have a bad feeling about the election. I still feel President Trump is fine. I'm not picking up a bad feeling. But I'm talking about the mindset of some of these Republicans. That they're like, well, we still held the Senate. So if President Trump gets pushed out, at least the Democrats won't be able to get anything through. And even some people in the media are trying to sell that idea. Well, if President Trump leaves, it's not like Democrats can get anything through because they have to go through the Senate. Okay. Keep up that attitude. See what happens. Let me tell you something. With cheating 2.0, if the Democrats had the gall, if they had the, you know what, to stop counting votes and go this far to attempt to thwart a duly elected president to winning re-election, What do you think they'll do to you in the Senate? How long? What? You'll get a 2-year shelf life? Because don't forget, I'm sure there are some Senate races coming up in 2022, and so on and so forth. So, just because those who made it over the finish line during 2020 and they're safe until 2026, okay, great. But there are other Republican senators who will be up for re-election during that time. You think Democrats are just gonna be like, oh, well, no, they're our friends. We're not gonna go as hard on them as we did on Trump because, well, they're part of the establishment like us. No, that's not gonna happen. What will happen is that they will push you out, they will become a majority, and they will fix it to where you will not be able to win again. If you're going to dance with the devil, you need to make sure you're wearing the right shoes. And Republicans, you're not good at picking the right shoes. Hate to say it, it's kind of true. It is what it is. So for those who are quiet right now, you might want to reconsider, reevaluate, and think about the long game, sort of like the Chinese do, which is why, yeah, things for China's looking kind of good. Not because President Trump would lose the election, because of this is so close, all of this craziness, all of this chaos, all of this gall, all of this nerve got so close to almost unseating President Trump, even though it has not been done. And I am not picking up that vibe. I need to make that clear. That after President Trump is gone, President Trump is not immortal. President Trump cannot run for a third term. So there will not be someone who fights like him for a while. And we will get another beta male president who's all concerned about how he looks to the world and how the world thinks a president should be presidential and everything else just to go along to get along. And then China is going to move in for the kill. And Democrats will make it very easy for them because they are incompetent, they are unscrupulous, and they're all about power. But this is the funny thing. When the chips fall the way that they will fall, and I'm talking about where the Chinese do what the Chinese do, the Democrats will fall too. And that's where Schadenfreude comes in for me, because I'll be like, well, kind of saw this coming. But as for now, during the present, Republicans need to stand up, hold the line. And when I'm talking about Republicans, I'm not talking about voters. Even though voters, if you want to go out and protest, I'm not a protest person. I don't necessarily believe in that because protest doesn't really mean anything. They just look at you. People do what they want to do. So, and I know some people are like, well, that's negative. No, it's logical. And I'm a direct person. I call things for what they are. Protests don't mean anything. If you want to get involved with a different type of action, like we have people showing that dead people voted in Michigan and pulling out the receipts and doing the research and presenting the evidence, that's different. That is different from a protest. That is showing evidence that things are not on the up and up. But I already knew things weren't on the up and up during all of this anyway. But it didn't matter because President Trump had galvanized his base and then some to come out and vote to override all of the shenanigans that the Democrats had put in place with cheating 1.0. So now we're at cheating 2.0. Republicans, just speak up. I'm not talking about stand out and march, but speak up. Call people out. Call this out. Instead of just being like, oh, well, we'll just let the count happen. Okay. You do that. See what happens to the Republican Party. If President Trump leaves, which I doubt he will, see what happens to the Republican Party. Because somebody will need President Trump's endorsement. Somebody will beg for President Trump's endorsement. It will happen. So I wanted to level with you guys and give full disclosure on my premonition. So yeah, that is what it was. They cheated beforehand. Before all of this happened, they had already cheated. The laugh is that it didn't work. And then now we're at cheating 2.0. I didn't pick up any energy on that one. So I don't know what to say. I wish I had something, but I got nothing. So yeah. But like I said, I'm not picking up anything bad related to President Trump right now. And usually I'm pretty good at it. So we'll see where stuff goes. But anyways, thank you to all of those who have been supporting the show, listening, watching, subscribing, all of that stuff. ThePurpleElephantShow.com, main podcasting platform. The Purple Elephant Show on Instagram, on Parler. If you are on Twitter, which seems to ban people, and I cannot wait until President Trump gets back into office and all this is over with, because you know what? As a matter of fact, when I log off of here, I am going to buy some duct tape for President Trump, and I'm going to send it to the White House. That way he can wrap up his ankle so his ankle doesn't break off when he puts his foot in Twitter's ass. Because I'm ready for him to lay into them like they've never been laid into before. Because they really, really overplayed their hand on this one. And I'm looking forward to that. But at RealTPES on Twitter, Facebook.com/The Purple Elephant Show, which is another one he'll probably need some duct tape for as well. And if you're watching this on BitChute, YouTube, Dailymotion, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, followed by the notification bell. That will let you know when I upload new videos. Until next time, be blessed.